What's going on, guys? JHoyt back with you today. Welcome back to some Call of Duty Black Ops 4. We got some league play for you, playing some hardpoint on the map Frequency, and for the first time ever, I'm using the Purifier in a game. Don't know why I used it, but hey, it's a good for a change, and I actually do pretty decent with it. So, hope you guys do enjoy that in the background, as today we are going to be talking about the positive and negatives of the potential franchise Call of Duty World League. And I will preface this by saying this is not my information that I'm getting this, but a lot of the stuff I do agree with. So I found this on Reddit from minor_envy, and I will link this down in the description below. I'm not going to read every single word in here, but I'm going to kind of shorten what he's saying or she's saying in this post. But let's just start off with the positives of franchising. So he says bring in bigger organizations, namely of those in the Overwatch League. Now this one, the bigger brands, the more fans. Basically how I look at it. You look at G2, Liquid, Astralis, MIBR, those big names that are even in like Counter-Strike or League of Legends or whatever. Like I said, bigger brands, more fans. Basically how that works. So definitely could help. I mean, you can't really hurt by having you can't have enough money, basically. So if an Astralis fan comes over and is like, hey, I really like this Optic team, or Astralis gets a Call of Duty team, they're gonna support them, because if they're an Astralis fan, most likely they're gonna kind of check out other esports like I do. More stability in format and organizations. Wouldn't have orgs going out of business mid-pro league like Red Reserve. A little shot at Red Reserve here, but more stability in the format and the leagues. This one would kind of be, finally, you'd have a set system for more than a year. I know for the last couple of years they've tried to have adjustments made to the Pro League and to events and to champs and to everything to make the league the most competitive possible. And, this year was probably the best yet. As far as perfect, no. But even if you implement some changes next year that make it better and make it bigger and overall improve it, we don't have a problem with that. But right now is probably the best it's ever been, especially getting into the Pro League. It's been the most fair and everything possible. And then you look at some organizations that kind of sold out and kind of screwed their players over that made the Pro League. And then some of the players are not in the Pro League now, where other bigger name individuals made the Pro League over these teams that were actually really exciting to watch. Next one, he said more accessible, could expand Overwatch deals with Twitch, Disney, ESPN, etc. to reach a bigger audience. At least for optics sake, I know obviously they just partnered with Nissan and GameStop. So I mean, those are some pretty big names right there. But obviously being sponsored by Twitch would be awesome. Disney, don't really know what they would do for us other than kind of it'd just be a mutual kind of promotion that they promote us, they promote and then we promote them. So just be like a money thing. And then ESPN, they already start covering it a little bit, but it would be nice to have it on there, all the time. Next one says should hopefully get rid of the scummy organizations from the scene. Yeah, this would kind of force organizations to be stable and to not screw over their players and all that fun stuff. And to help brands become bigger and get more jobs and more opportunities for people and for players and for photographers, videographers, and front office people and whatever. It would just help all around for that. And this kind of goes on to the next one: better infrastructure and staff to push performance to the next level. Again, the more people working on it, hopefully the better it is. This also goes with a point that's a couple down here: better production value. They just did a big production overhaul. I think it was either last year or the year before, where they upgraded all of their equipment, their cameras, their basically everything. So obviously better production value could help. Obviously bigger cameras, nicer cameras, better quality, whatever the case is. Production value is always a big thing. Bigger prize pools, more sponsor deals. Again, more money would always help. Bigger, brands and everything coming in would definitely help. No question about that. Then the next thing is talking about the amateur scene, where they said basically they're talking about better amateur support, where right now it's, if you're an amateur team, you're probably not in the pro league, you're basically playing for nothing. There is small events that you can play in, which are basically online tournaments, or there are some kind of smaller LAN tournaments that you can go to and make some money. But I think they're looking into League of Legends type of system for this. At least I would be, where you have your pro league team and then you'd have your kind of academy team, to where that younger talent, or players that just missed out in the pro league, could be signed to these academy teams. And if one of your players is underperforming, or is sick or something, you could call up a player from your academy team, and they could jump into your starting pro league roster, and could start and play well, and potentially get traded, or whatever, to another team that say, hey, we want this guy full time, let him come over. So if you could do that, that would definitely help. Then they're also talking about making events super stressful. Now, personally, what could be more beneficial than having to completely get rid of amateurs is to kind of have the open events start a day or two early. So just say they get into town on Monday, they start playing Wednesday or even Thursday, and then the actual event starts Friday. So you have those couple of days to get all those matches in, and on Friday or maybe even Saturday, you could have that all the open bracket teams down to your final 4 that would go into your into your pool play, and then they'd be incorporated into the normal schedule and into the normal tournament. So, like I said, if you start, a couple of days early, that could kind of solve your issue. But the people that they're also saying is they play late and have to wake up early. Again, if you do it earlier, have a couple more days there, and it could definitely solve an issue there. More development with support. Activision would not neglect the competitive scene if they're investing in franchising for it. It would become a priority. Definitely agree with this one. If you have a developer that is invested and willing to work with the pro league, you'd have a rule set that would be a little bit more accurate to what it is in league play as it is in the pro league, and they could definitely be a lot quicker with patches and or nerfs on various weapons or whatever. So you could definitely be improved there. Then we have centralized teams means more and better quality content produced both by orgs and league. Now this one, something I've always said is, obviously if you look at like baseball or soccer or hockey or whatever, that team is based in a city. However, just say if Optic Gaming, for example, they're based right now in Frisco, Texas, right? 3 of them? I think 3 of them live there right now. Scump, Crim6, and Karma all live there right now. So, if you had that entire team there in their own kind of office space, scrimming out of that office space every day, streaming there, playing there, have their coach there, obviously TP's there too, I forgot about that. So they have 4 out of the 6 people there. And then you don't have to really worry about visa issues or anything like that. And, just be overall more stable for people. You could be there all the time, and it'd be a little bit better than having to play online all the time and trying to talk online and everything. So, personally, if you could have just say the hex quarters type space that you could scream out of every day. Your coach could be there, and you could talk about strategy and prepare for other other teams, and it just overall be helpful for everything. Then the next one says potential access to old/new talent such as Puckett or Mr. X for some events. Granted, schedules don't clash. This one's a lot less, I guess, of a priority as anything. I mean, we already kind of do have that if they're available, but usually they're, busy with their own games, their own esports. Because I feel like Courage or Benson or something that, Courage shows up to like the big events, and then Benson's there kind of full time, sort of, but he also does Gears of War stuff as well. So, I mean, yeah, it'd be cool. Is it a priority? I'd say no. Then we have signing bonuses from the Development or Contenders League, which support Tier 2 organizations. If a player gets signed to the Overwatch League from the Contenders League, they would get 150K. Then the org that played in the Contenders League also gets that 150K for raising that talent. I don't really know too much about this situation, but hey, more money is more money. Definitely an incentive for more organizations to get part of the league. Then we got orgs can have 2 sets of sponsors even if they conflict. An example, C9 is sponsored by HyperX, while the London Spitfire are sponsored by Logitech. Again, more brands, more teams, or more sponsors, more money. Don't really see a problem with it. But then we jump into the negatives of franchising. They say we might have to make new brands. It could be a positive for smaller organizations with smaller fan bases. Bad branding, it could be a fresh start, and it would be a chance to garner new fans. Now this one all around, for smaller organizations, this would be a positive. But for big organizations such as Optic or FaZe, United, Envy, Luminosity, those big names, it would hurt them because they already have their established brand such as Optic Gaming, and we wouldn't want the Houston Outlaws or the Frisco whatever, or you know what I mean? So we don't want city-based, but I'm fine with having Optic Gaming or Optic, but we don't want city-based. That's kind of the biggest thing. We don't want city-based. Then the next point also goes along with it. We could lose some legacy brands. I believe they mean like Optic Gaming, FaZe Clan, United, Envy, those types of names. Then we talked about this a little bit earlier. Less amateur events means that you're less likely to get Cinderella stories. However, amateurs could still, make an impact. Yes and no. I mean, amateurs do have Cinderella stories right now. However, if you look at names like Midnight or Accelerate, or even players that played and are new and whatever, that we could get those Cinderella stories, and we could have teams like Midnight from this year. If they didn't get screwed over, they're a really exciting team to watch. But they got screwed over, unfortunately, and that team's not now playing together. So that kind of sucks. Then again, we talked about it earlier, amateur players could be signed to Academy League rosters or to whatever, and they could potentially get traded to bigger organizations where they could eventually be in a starting spot. We talked about that earlier a little bit. And then if the investment is too high, then the league could be unsustainable in the long run and could set competitive COD back a lot. Agree, sort of. If you set, just say, $100 million for a spot in this league, obviously that's a little bit too high. I believe they're asking is like $20 million or $25 million. It's still a lot, but compared to, I think, what was it for like Overwatch in League of Legends? They had to pay like, I don't remember now, but they had to pay a lot of money to get into those leagues. They said if the scene would probably become more PC due to amount of money and mainstream attention. I don't really know what he means by this, so I'll just move on. Then we have potential mismanagement of the Tier 2 scene. As seen in the Overwatch, orgs might have to end or deny some sponsor deals if they conflict with the sponsors of the league / Coke, or an example, Coke and Mountain Dew. Agree, yes, obviously more money, bigger brands, more fans is basically how you look at it. But I also said this last time, maybe I said it this time too. If you have a PC team, such as Overwatch, League of Legends, they're going to be more apt to go for mice sponsorships or mouse sponsorships, keyboard, headset, monitor, computer. Whereas, controller esports would go for controllers and then basically everything else, except for keyboards and mice, really. So it'd be similar, but also the more the better. So I know this was a long video and a lot to read and a lot to talk about. So like I said before, this link of this Reddit post is linked down in the comment section or in the description below. So if you guys want to read through it and see what he has to say, I'll leave it down there for you guys to read. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. But if you did enjoy, hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. And as always, guys, we'll see you next time.